thank you for staying awake so far for the last guy. I appreciate that. My name is Mike Heyl. I'm a public health educator here with the Lincoln-Lancaster County Health Department. My area of expertise, advice, consulting with the department is in the area of physical activity and nutrition. And about 10 years ago when I came on with the department, that was about the same time David was coming on with planning. Terry had been with Park and Rec for quite a while. And we started meeting monthly as part of the Mayor's Pedestrian Bicycle Advisory Committee, and we started finding out that the three different departments had a lot of things that were overlapping. There were lots of things that we had in common that we needed to share. And over the last 10 years, we've developed this working relationship where I don't think there's a single department in the city of Lincoln that doesn't know what the other groups are doing. So Public Works, Park and Rec, Urban Development, Planning, the Health Department, we're all very good at sharing information and supporting each other, because we found out through experience that basically there's 5 E's we have to address. One is evaluation. If we're not measuring outcomes of what happens, car crashes, pedestrian and bicycle counts, miles of trails, miles of streets, miles of sidewalk, we don't have the answers to a lot of questions. We have to have good engineering. You've already seen from both David and Terry what they're doing. We didn't get anybody from Public Works to come and talk today, but they also have a big impact with this, with the city streets and with the sidewalks that they maintain. There's enforcement. LPD, believe it or not, does tag bicyclists. They do write tickets. But they also follow up with crashes. When bicycle and cars and bicyclists and pedestrian and cars have accidents, LPD tracks those things. But they also write tickets, and so enforcement's covered. There's also encouragement, which is something I think that we all do a lot. We count on you to do it with your work sites, encouraging your employees to be out, be physically active, to use the trail system, to use the sidewalks, to use the streets, to use the parks, to use all the recreational facilities we have. And for a city this size, Lincoln has well over 100 different facilities. Those aren't just parks and trails. Those are privately held exercise centers, dojos, dance studios, gyms, whatever you want to call them. But then the other part that we have is education, and that's what I want to talk about a little bit, and then a little bit more about the encouragement as well. So we'll talk about Lincoln's bicycle education program first. Smart cycling is the national curriculum that has been developed by the League of American Bicyclists for bicycle education. It is a set of curricula that is designed to work with children through adults in both classroom and on-street, on-trail, on-sidewalk bicycle activities. There's a series of 5 different levels of classes. You have to go through a fairly extensive training program to receive what's called League Certified Instructor status. We have 23 people here in town now that are League Certified Instructors. It took us the better part of a year, but we've slowly accumulated this number of folks that can do these trainings. We've already done them a couple of times at schools. We've done one at Southeast Community College. We've done several at UNL through Campus Rec. We've done one through the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, which is primarily for seniors. Prescott Elementary was a nice pilot school for us for our education efforts. But we want to make those classes available to work sites, to schools, to churches. We'll be doing it at Park and Rec centers. The Jane Snyder Center will be a huge magnet site for us for those bicycle education classes. And they will come with fees. Will be some classes, if we can do them for kids, we'd like to not charge for kids' classes. We figure that eliminates a barrier. How many of you learned how to bike ride? Your first bicycle ride was in a city of 250,000 people. Any show of hands? I didn't think so. The city I grew up in was only 75,000 people when I first got on my bike many, many decades ago. Parents now are hesitant to teach their kids how to ride a bike because they're not comfortable, they're not confident in their own bicycling abilities in a city this size. And so being able to offer those children's classes, I think, is very important to getting kids first on the sidewalks in the neighborhood, and then as they start to go to school or to other places, getting them out on the streets so they can comfortably ride. And we have plenty of streets that children can ride safely in. The traffic volume of the cars is low enough, the streets are wide enough If we can just educate the kids about bike safety, we can cut them loose and go from there. But we also have a lot of adults that haven't been on bikes in years, and they would start riding more if they only knew how to ride in city traffic. And that's where we have the adult classes. And we're figuring I'm probably charging anywhere from $15 to $25 per person for the classes. That money goes to cover what is about an 8-hour class, 4 hours in the classroom, 4 hours actually out doing bicycle skills. And a lot of it has to do with just a community ride, getting people out in their neighborhoods where the classes are offered so they're confident and comfortable riding in the streets that they're at and go from there. We have a lot of bicycle promotions going on. I've tried to list a few of them here, starting with the oldest one. Trail Trek has been celebrated for 10 years now. About a decade ago, the gentleman that was the then publisher of the Lincoln Journal-Star had all this experience with bicycle events at other communities he had been in with the newspapers, and he wanted Lincoln to have something like that. So he approached the Great Plains Trails Network, he approached Park and Rec, he approached the health department, he approached the local bike shops and said, I don't want a race, I just want an event. I want a celebration of the trails. And so Trail Trek started the first couple years with about 800, 900 people. The idea of the Trail Trek event is to move the event around each year to different parts of the trail system. So people will get exposed to parts of the trail that they normally don't ride because it's not in their neighborhood or it's not on the way to their work or to their place of play or worship or whatever, for whatever reason they're riding. This is the 10th year. This year we had just over 1,500 people participate in 4 different levels of rides from 10 miles to 40 miles. And we asked the people just to show up and ride. We had lots of families. It's a half-day event. It generally occurs the last Sunday of May, and the plans are already in process to make next year even bigger, shooting for about 2,000 participants in Trail Trek. Biketacular has been an event that's been sponsored by the Near South neighborhood, the Everett neighborhood, McPhee and Everett elementary schools to try and get their neighborhoods, the families, just to get out and introduce them to biking. And so there's a bike rodeo, there's lots of health events that go on, but the nice thing and unique thing about Biketacular is it is paired with a race. The Capital City Criterium is a professional bicycle race, and they have the chance for people in the neighborhoods to come and watch professional bicyclists race on the streets in and around the capital area. The Mayor's Bike to Ride, Bike to Work Day has been going on for about 4 years now. The first year we did it just as a public employee event. We did it just for city employees. The mayor had fun, got to talking with some other businesses in the downtown area. Second year we invited just downtown businesses. This was our 4th year this last spring. It's generally, we do our Mayor's Bike to Work ride the Friday before Bike to Work week, which is generally the 2nd full week of May. But this year we had about 650 people sign up and ride either to their and from their work sites or with the mayor's ride on that day, the Friday leading into the National Bike to Work Week event. Streets Alive, this is the 2nd year we'll be doing Streets Alive. It's scheduled for Sunday, September 9th. Originally designed to be a physical activity promotion, just to get people out and move so they understand that walking and bicycling is the easy choice, to get them out of the cars. We worked with the Community Health Endowment to get 3.1 miles of city streets closed. And then people were allowed to rollerblade, walk, bike, push baby strollers on those streets. We had different events along the route. People could stop and get health information, healthy food, visit with vendors. This year it's set for Sunday, September 9th. Instead of being the south central part of the city, this time we're going to kind of move to the central to north central part. And more information is just starting to come out from the Community Health Endowment about that. This is a unique event. It's free, but we also shut down city streets to do it. And we had over 3,500 people come out last year and participate in the first ever event like that in Lincoln. National Bike to School Day was rolled out this year. The City of Lincoln worked with both Prescott and Maxey Elementary Schools to introduce the concept to schools in Lincoln. Normally those schools have anywhere between 15 to maybe 30 kids bike on an average day to school. On that day we had over 150 kids bicycling to school, and that wasn't counting the parents that rode their bikes to or from school with their children that day to participate as well. The principals of both Prescott and Maxey were very impressed that many families were interested in bicycling, and they're looking now at expanding their bike capacity and coming up with bike routes recommending for the kids to come to and from school. The newest one is the bike-friendly community, bike-friendly business. Now, the bike-friendly community, bike-friendly business designation from the League of American Bicyclists has gone on for years. But this was Lincoln's crowning moment. After 7 years of trying to get designated as a bike-friendly community, this year Lincoln earned bronze level status. There's 4 levels you can get: honorable mention, bronze, silver, gold. 1 or 2 communities are starting to push the platinum level, and there's talk about making a 5th category, platinum, for the really, really unique bicycling communities. But after 7 years of trying, focusing on those 5 E's, Lincoln finally made the bronze level this year. We also, for the first time, had 4 businesses that were recognized as bike-friendly businesses. Pepe's Bistro up in Northeast Lincoln, Union Bank, at all their branches, not just one, received an honorable mention. Pepe's got a silver. CycleWorks, Moose's Tooth got a silver, and UNL Campus Rec also got a silver. So this was a really big bike year for recognition for the city that way. The bicycle-friendly community opportunity happens once a year. Bicycle-friendly business is open twice a year. You have to have an application submitted either in January or June of each year. So we'll be approaching a few more Workwell companies this next 6 months trying to get you to make an application, because we feel there's probably closer to about 12 to 15 companies in Lincoln that can qualify. Omaha, for comparison, has 12 companies that are bike-friendly business. But a lot of theirs are small businesses, single owner proprietorships and things like that. We feel like we've probably got 12 bona fide businesses that would qualify and hopefully get recognition next year. The last event I want to talk about is Get Up and Ride. This is currently ongoing. This is the first ever national bike competition between cities and between states. Endomondo is a computer programming company out of Europe. They've partnered with the League of American Bicyclists, Kimberly-Clark Corporation, and Trek Bicycles. It's a 4-month competition where people keep track using the Endomondo application on their smartphone or on a GPS or even on their desk computer. You can log in your miles. But from May 1st through August 31st, your cities encourage companies and teams to be formed to track miles in this competition. It's free. It's open to anyone who lives in the U.S. We have a lot more teams entered than we have companies. Companies can only enter one time, but since teams are limited to 10 people or less, we have lots of companies that have multiple teams within their company. Lincoln's done very well with this one. As of this morning, since May 1st, we are now out of over 670 cities in the country, second in the nation as far as bicycling. We have well over 700 people in the city who have recorded at least one bike ride on their system since May 1st. We're ahead of biking meccas like Portland, Oregon, Madison, Wisconsin, the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Cities that have a lot more education, a longer history of education, who have a bigger trail systems, who have bike lanes, and here we are, Lincoln, second in the nation. So we're very proud of this effort. You still have the opportunity to sign up, even though the event is just over halfway done now. You can still sign up either as an individual and have your miles tracked towards Lincoln's total, or for your company, or if you still want to form a team, you can form a team and go there. And the endomondo.com campaign national website is where you want to go for more information. Little incentive, they're giving away 4 high-tech bicycles, dozens of bicycle helmets, a couple trips to wine country, Napa Valley, California at the end in August, and you still have lots of time to accumulate miles and go from there. Any questions about our education component or our encouragement component that we currently have going? Yes, ma'am.
What is a bike-friendly business?
A bike-friendly business, there are criteria that have been set up by the League of American Bicyclists as far as what a business does to encourage people to bicycle to work. Now, it doesn't have to be bicycling every day, but they do look at the environment. Has the business created some bike parking? Is there policies that encourage bicycling? Have you provided some education? One of the Workwell companies, Lycor, actually has an internal web page where they list routes to get from different parts of town to Lycor. They have a listing of other people at Lycor that bike to work if you want to partner with them. Teledyne ISCO makes a big effort to promote bicycling. Lincoln Industries supports bicycle races. There are some companies that are exploring the tax incentives of encouraging people to bike. There are tax incentives for people who want to commute by car, but they're now just finding out there also are tax incentives for people who want to commute by bicycle. And you can get a reduction in your pre-tax paychecks by setting up these type of programs. So there's a list of about 7, maybe 8 different things that a business has to be doing or in the process of doing. There's a checklist at the League of American Bicyclists website, and you can go there and they'll have a little checklist to see where you think you might be at. A lot of companies can qualify real easy for the honorable mention, but if you've gone so far as to make locker rooms available, indoor bike parking available, you've got policies that encourage or reimburse bicyclists, your company can get recognition and go from there. Nice part too is once you've received some of those recognitions, you can also turn around and apply for grants for up to $10,000 to improve your bicycling environment at your company. If you're interested in making an application, you can contact any one of our offices. We'll walk you through it. Any other questions? On behalf of Terry, David, and I, thank you so much for your attention. If you have any questions about bicycling in general, please don't hesitate to contact any of us. Thank you.